So welcome to this panel. Interestingly, I think we've covered or touched on, lots of the issues that I think we were hoping to sort of ask the participants here about today, including longer term legacies and questions of sustainability, issues around the specific kind of experience of art for reconciliation, so how participants and audience members actually experience this and talk about their experiences of this work, and also in terms of longer term impacts, of how these experiences become, or whether these experiences affect people's everyday lives after you attend a performance or you take part in a project.
So we went to see the Queer Ceilidh at Trinity Lodge, and I had heard it advertised on the radio, and I had quite recently moved home from London, having been there for about 9 years maybe, and I used to go to the theatre quite a bit when I was there. So I moved home to Dungannon, which is not really a cultural hotspot, unfortunately. And while I was in London as well, I had been quite heavily involved in activism for the repeal of the Eighth Amendment. And then I was trying to get involved with more Alliance for Choice and things like that whenever I got home. So I was drawn to having missed attending theatre generally, and that it was about activism. It was interesting, so I bought some tickets and dragged Brenda along with me.
Things like equal rights or gay rights, or even for the likes of the repeal of the Eighth and things like that there. It was only after Ciara got involved, Ciara enlightened me, Ciara educated me, and then we went to do it. But I think Queer Ceilidh had a bigger impact on me than what it actually did with Ciara, and well, probably that will unfold as we go through.
I think it may be even in the advertising, and it doesn't matter what amount of time has passed, that it's still valuable. I want to see Queer Ceilidh now, and I want to get the same passion that Brenda got out of that. And it's all about, when you find that passion and a bit of a drive, then you want to keep going, and that's why I'm still here. Because there's a passion when you see a result. And even if we talk about planting the seeds, and if we can affect change in one person, then we've done our job. But we're actually, obviously, we have two people on the screen here, Brenda and Ciara, that have been affected by Queer Ceilidh. And because they have talked about that, then I am, and I want to. So it's about spreading the news, really, I think.
There's this fear of going to theatre because it's seen as something, not for us or whatever. But there's also fear that that it might be a bad production and you maybe spent money on it, even though God knows there's loads of things that are free and come to come to the community. But I think there's also a fear of maybe going in and letting your guard down, because a theatre, when what you're seeing involves you or your life, and what you're seeing are the people who lived those lives on that stage, that's both a safe space and a dangerous space. You're in a space where you're confronting things that might make you feel uncomfortable or inspired, or, and that might be a little too much to handle. But theatres should be safe spaces. They should be the place where you hear the unhearable sometimes, or you hear from your enemy, or you hear from just a point of view that you never heard before. And that's what it's about, that you come away transformed, whether it's a tiny transformation or a long-term one.
Just shortly after I did Theatre of Witness, my own commander here in Derry at the time, Stevie Martin, actually then used parts of Theatre of Witness to be able to convey to police officers how people would perceive them, and we did a training programme based on storytelling. Just locally for police, where they actually do develop an understanding of what it feels like to be a minority in a majority community, and what it feels like to be policed in certain ways. And we find it's very, very effective.
That's really interesting. Just beginning to get into this, what specifically it is about these projects, and about using theatre or literature or whatever the medium might be that allows us to enter these conversations in a different way that you wouldn't be able to have around your kitchen table or in a simple kind of mediatory process. Sometimes theatre is a better way to sort of address these issues, I think.